Back in 2024, about 6 weeks before the election, I released a video about the enigma of Kamala Harris, detailing a little bit about how unknown she was and how little there was out there about her background and her family and the questionableness of it. And there was another candidate at the time that was promising America first and secure borders and freedom, for me especially, as a God-fearing First and Second Amendment loving guy, and Fourth Amendment too, which comes into play later. I believe we had some really good founding fathers who wrote some great constitutional protections, and I believe that they need to be uninfringed. And back in 2024, I felt the Democratic Party was a greater risk of infringing my rights than the Republican Party. And I voted for Donald Trump. He promised America first, was going to look after the concerns and prosperity and security of our country. Fast forward to the last, 2026 really, the last week and a half in Minneapolis. I've seen things I wish I had never seen happening. It started with execution of Renee Good in her car. Probably guilty of a traffic violation. The ICE officer drove past her, stopped after getting past her, which kind of defeats the argument she was blocking the road, and then gets out of his car and circles around. She's nice to him. The next two officers come up and approach, and their first orders are get the F out of the car and start reaching in the door handle. And the car's in gear at the time they're saying this and approaching her, all masked up, faceless, nameless, nothing cordial about it, not asking her to move, just get the F out. The shooting officer steps in front of her vehicle at that time when the car's in gear, and she proceeds to roll out because she's freaked out. The only officer to draw his gun is the guy who stepped in front of the car while it was in gear, and he proceeds to put one bullet into the windshield while the other ICE officer had his arm in the door, probably scaring the crap out of the other ICE officer, and then he proceeds to put two more rounds through the driver's side window and kill the woman as she leaves, driving past him, which defeats the argument she was trying to run him over. The fact that she turned away, and she wasn't turning after she was shot, she was turning before she was shot. Because after she shot, she was dead. There's no argument she was trying to get out of there because she was afraid. And she was afraid because they were rushing her car with masks and guns and stepping in front of her trying to impede her. She couldn't move. The guy was circling around her car. Where was she supposed to go while he was walking around? Back up to the side? They put her in an impossible situation and they shot her for it. The only guy afraid for his life was the one that drew his gun, right? None of the other officers were afraid. None of them even reached for a gun. That tells you how scary she was. If she was threatening or scary, more than one officer out of the 10 would have reached for their sidearm. So she was shot down, executed, because a dumb officer stepped in front of her vehicle trying to stop her. Cowboy hero. Violating, I'm sure, several procedures. Then later on in the week, I see a 17-year-old kid working at Target in the middle of the day. Up rolls a bunch of SUVs on the side of the parking lot there, and he's out there, and out comes the Homeland Security boss and some goons. And they ask him, hey, we're, basically American citizen. He's like, hey, but none of your freaking business. I'm just working here and I'm going back and work, basically. Screw you. He's mad because they're harassing him. They engaged him asking about his citizenship. And he's there working. He's at Target. Why don't they ask Target about his citizenship? Ask Target if they're employing illegal immigrants. I'm betting they're not. I'm betting he produced ID and got a job with Social Security number just like the other people there. Go ask Target. You don't need to harass a 17-year-old kid. And he's scared, right? So he starts retreating to the store, and big, tall, goony dude, another nameless, faceless thug, chases him down, tackles him in the doorway to the store, and with 6 other officers piling on top of him. While the other officers protect the entrance and exits so they can pick him up and drag him out. Only to find out he's an American citizen and dump him off later down the road. 17-year-old kid at work, American. Just because they don't like the way he looked? That's stupid. That's illegal. That should be illegal. Those guys should every one of those guys that tackle him should be facing some kind of consequence. The boss should be fired for letting those guys do that. No cause. No suspicion other than what he looked. What could they know about him? He didn't like them, and that he looked not like them. That's all they know, and they acted. There's no denying it. Watched another guy going to church on a Sunday morning in a F-150 like I'm sitting in right now. ICE thinks he's following them. He's going to church in his neighborhood. They get out, and the guy on the driver's side pounding on his window, cussing him out. The guy on the passenger side has his gun drawn. The guy's in his neighborhood going to church on Sunday morning. They're cussing him out, telling him to go home and stop following. They don't ask him if he's following, they just do it. Another lady sitting in the car in a traffic jam going to the doctor's office. They drag her out because she's not happy. She didn't. A disabled lady going to the doctor's office. I watched her get dragged out and cuffed. Protesters protesting, just saying mean words. They get brushed and tackled and knocked down and arrested for saying things, making noise. Just for words. Watched them tackle a guy at a gas station and asking about citizenship. Kids at a school asking about citizenship, just on the sidewalk. Want to know where people are born. Based on what? All those arrests are illegal. Fourth Amendment protects you from illegal search and seizures. All these ICE professionals, they should have to go before a judge. They should have to identify who they're after, go before a judge, get an arrest warrant, go arrest the people listed on a warrant, and leave everybody else alone. Act professional. If you don't like what somebody's saying, just do your job and ignore it. You're entrusted with a gun and a badge. You have to be in control of your emotions. If you can't control your emotions, you should not be wearing a gun and a badge. If you can't take somebody saying something you don't like, and you can't handle a little bit of noise, and you can't handle a little chaos, you should not be wearing a badge and a gun. You should be able to remain calm and do your job. Period. And if you arrest somebody, you should have a warrant. Or they should be doing something wrong right in front of you. Really wrong. Not just saying something. Or turning their car sideways. Or something silly like that. That's a civil infraction that should have been left to the Minneapolis police. They should have just asked her to move and drove around her. It was one car. One lady. She would have moved. I guarantee she would have moved. They had the patience to wait, she would have moved. But they didn't have it. This is not what I voted for. This is nothing at all what I voted for. I voted for freedom. I voted for those people's right to protest. I voted for their right to be safe and secure on their own streets. I voted for the right to people to be safe and secure in their own homes. I voted for people to be free. I'm a freedom-loving, God-fearing American. I want to live peaceably with all men, and I want all men to live peaceably with me. This is not it. None of these people we're seeing are guilty of anything worthy of what I'm seeing. Why are there 3,000 troops in one town? Are there 3,000 people they're trying to deport? Why such a huge number? It doesn't make sense. The guy I voted for is not in office. He is not. The guy in charge of this, the guy that's sending his troops there, that's not what I voted for. He needs to go. I'm sorry I voted for him. I regret it. Because this is going to be murder. The midterm elections are going to be murder. The 2028 election is going to be murder for the Republican Party. They're done. If they can't purge Donald Trump and stop him, they're done. They're done. The Congress should be acting, passing laws. The judges should be passing injunctions. There should be more protesting in the streets, and I'm amazed. I am amazed that nobody shot an ICE officer yet. That's amazing to me. It's coming. I think that's what he wants. I think that'll provoke. I mean, why else would you be doing this? You're trying to provoke the opposition to do something stupid to justify more action. That would be the only reason why he'd be acting such a fool. And I hope nobody shoots an ICE officer, because I think that would just make it worse, because now he did justification to ramp this up. He's a menace. He's a menace. Donald Trump is a menace to our society. And apparently he's a menace to other societies too. He's got to go. I'm sorry I voted for him. He needs to go. It's terrible to say, but I admit I was wrong. I knew better than to believe him, and I did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to America I voted for him. The Democratic Party, put a better candidate out next time, and I'll vote for him or her, whoever it is. I don't even care. Give me a pro-Second Amendment candidate that thinks I should be able to pray in the street. You give me a candidate that'll say my daughter should be able to use the restroom without a man coming in there legally. I'm down with this. This has got to stop. Donald Trump's got to go. I'm sorry.